Dear Pixie, you asked us, you talk much of expansion, but how do we know when we are in a state of expansion, and how do we trigger expansion within ourselves? Expansion is the pattern of the universe, the pattern of source. You, in physicality, mirror the pattern of source. Therefore, you are perpetually in a state of expansion, even when, from a linear point of view, you are static. Expansion is all around you. You exist within it and it flows through you. Expansion is a living force, a living geometry. It occurs on a physical level within the body, within the cells, within the DNA. It is movement. Yet looking at your question from a linear sense, there is indeed the state we call expansion and the state we call static or stuck. The static state or state of stasis is, from a linear point of view, the opposite polarity from expansion. Yet in the truest reality, the state of stasis is but a moment, occurring within the blink of an eye, and serves your expansion. For when stasis is broken and movement begins once more, stasis acts as the launch pad, if you will, moving you forward within a new momentum within your personal matrix pattern. As the archer draws back his bow and holds the bow still, finding balance and poise before releasing the arrow, so too does stasis serve to bring momentum to the forward movement geometry of expansion. Yet expansion is not only forward moving in pattern, but moves in a triangular sense, if you will. In truth, the geometric shape of expansion mirrors the moving, living, loving geometry you know as the Platonic solids, and expansion moves into that which you know as the dodecahedron. The reason being is that expansion is quantum and multidimensional. When looking at the momentum we describe in a linear sense, one would envisage the domino effect within multidimensional selves within beings undergoing expansion. As one aspect of self moves into realization and a path of self-actualization, so then do the other aspects of self within the quantum field, creating the dodecahedron geometric curve within that time-space reality of the individual. So too does this domino effect take place within space as well as time. As one being undergoing expansion affects other beings and acts as a trigger to their expansion. This takes place within a linear perspective, in a planetary-wide sense, within humanity or said planetary race. Each being, through expansion, becoming multidimensional and triggering the expansion of their quantum selves. When this moves into a critical mass projection, this triggers expansion within the planet itself and thus the galaxy, the universe, the time-space sector, and so on and so forth, right up to source. As the dodecahedron of expansion gains momentum, new universes, stars, galaxies, planetary bodies, suns, and other cosmic creations are birthed. Just one individual, just one human individual upon your planet Earth, just one, you, adds to this overall momentum and expansion. Therefore, one can see the gravity of the situation here, can one not? The place you take upon your planet, within your reality, holds a level of importance that no words could impart. When that understanding of one's overall importance within the whole, a fractal within that whole, is taken with humility, expansion has already taken place. One becomes aware of their own expansion in many ways. The changing landscape of the dream time, from the sorting of the waking state from the perspective of the subconscious coming to the fore, to the creations within the law of magnetic attraction through direct experience within the vast universal mind. The search for knowledge, almost obsessively embarked upon. We would refer to this mindset as the warrior's quest. The inability to process what one is seeing, hearing, touching, reading, writing, drawing, or speaking, with the deep knowing of truth and alignment with the divine taking place simultaneously. That which you know as channeling, higher inspiration, divine guidance, or the blessing of the muse. All these are the markers of the experience of expansion. Waking, feeling as though one has been somewhere, has travelled afar in the dream time, that one has been in many places at once, or has been working spiritually all night. These are signs of expansion. The understanding and processing of that which has not been understood or processed before. The interpretation of metaphor in deeper and more meaningful ways than before. The feeling of having an epiphany, a light bulb moment, connecting to inspired thought and new ideas in a way that has not been experienced before. A feeling of intense joy, an opening of the heart, a feeling of bliss and connectedness. All are signs of expansion. The ability to accept and move through a challenge that has repeatedly been coming into your reality that you have not been able to accept and move through before. Memories of childhood coming to the surface that had long been buried. True memories of that which you know as a past incarnation. Communicating with a quantum self aspect, knowing how one's reality may have turned out had they made a different decision and walked a different path. Sensing one's timelines, and indeed creating one's timelines, all are signs of expansion, and indeed there are many more than this. Triggers to expansion are many. Beauty, art, creativity, love, wonder, happiness, knowledge, poetry, music, dream time and astral projection, meditation, certain foods and herbs, crystals, communication with an expanded other, or connection with a spirit entity or extraterrestrial being. That which triggers you into creativity also triggers you into expansion. For creativity is always expansion, and within expansion there is always creativity. Words hold vibration, and words are memory triggers for all star-seeded activated individuals holding the higher strand crystalline DNA formation, that which we would call the organic human. Memory triggers such as these, in most cases, create expansion. If memory triggers create any fear-based emotional reaction, or a feeling of discomfort or anger, at this fear-based emotion being uncovered, if you will, then the origin point of the negative memory, trauma, or event will need to be addressed and worked through before expansion in a forward or upward moving sense can begin from the trigger point of that particular memory, trigger, or word. However, discovering, addressing and working through the negative memory, trauma or event is in itself expansion. This is an expansive inward momentum rather than an outward one, but it is not static. If momentum is there, the geometry will always set within the dodecahedron of expansion. There are individual personal words, phrases, emotional states, images, places, sounds, colours and tastes that act as memory triggers into inward or outward momentum and thus expansion. So too are there universal words, phrases, emotional states, images, places, sounds, colours and tastes that act as memory triggers into expansion. Suggested universal emotional states are wonder, joy and bliss. Suggested places are the chakra points upon your planet Earth, places of high energy and planetary electrical activation. Suggested colours are that of violet, magenta and gold. A suggested image is the rose. Suggested sounds are tones, mantras, chants, the beat of the drum, and sounds holding golden mean frequency. Music that gives you a sense of joy and peace. Suggested tastes are the sweet flavours of fruits, especially the berries, when eaten by an individual with balanced, natural ability to taste. Suggested words and phrases are many, and several have been spoken through our conduit Magenta Pixie during this communication. We suggest, for use as a mantra, the word expansion itself. We can also suggest golden mean, sacred, love, Christed light, harmony, ascension, nirvana, Magdalene, mandala, vortex, portal, beloved, indigo, transcendence, magic, truth, DNA, divinity, nectar, Nibiru, dragon, earth, and remember, as triggers to cellular memory and thus expansion. We are the white-winged collective consciousness of 9. Gateways within, gateways within, gateways within, gateways within. Come with me on a euphoric voyage.